Hello, and welcome all to another episode of the Spooky Spooky Horror Show podcast. I am your host, Sean. I'm joined again by Anthony, and today we're going to be talking about 2018's horror thriller, Alive. But before we get into any of that, Anthony, how has your week been?
Honestly, it hasn't been that bad. I mean, we got like 2 really good days, and then 2 really bad days of rain. And today was actually really decent. We had the windows open all day. It was perfect. But other than that, not bad.
The kid's been sleeping like all day today. All day.
Is he okay?
Yeah, no, he's fine. He's 100% fine. When I woke up this morning, the wife told me that she got a text from him saying, like, I beat Five Nights at Freddy's. And I was like, I know he's beaten Five Nights at Freddy's. He beat FNAF when he was like
a lot.
5.
Yeah.
Like, what is he talking about? And she's
what does
like,
that mean? Yeah.
She's like, no, that text came in at 6:30 this morning. And I was like, wait, he just stayed up all night? And she's like, I think so. I think he stayed up until after 6 a.m., which is in FNAF. No, in FNAF, you work from like midnight to 6 a.m. And if you get to 6 a.m., you win. You beat the day.
Yeah.
I was like, so wait, he was just trying to like real life beat FNAF? Just stay awake till 6? Motherfucker's 12. Like, no. Go to fucking sleep.
Oh my God, really?
Oh. We woke him up this morning and he was like, no, I woke up at 5 and I sent you that text and I ended up falling back asleep. And we were like, all right,
okay.
All right, that's better.
But that's a lot better.
Because of that, he's been all fucked up. He didn't full on get up until probably like 4 hours ago. I'm like, buddy, you're getting some melatonin tonight.
I remember
early.
Those days. Yeah, I remember those days.
I still have those days, but no, you're 12. You need to go to sleep. But let's get into some production facts. Alive was directed by Rob Grant and written by Chuck McHugh and Jules Vincent. It stars, this is where we get a name, Thomas. I'm gonna send it to you.
Oh yeah, send it to the dude that's terrible with names. Kakurl?
It's like
Kakurl?
Yeah.
Kakurl?
Thomas
I can't.
Koquirl?
Kakurl?
I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. I couldn't
we're
find,
not intending to send it at
spelling.
all. We're very sorry, but yeah, this is not easy.
It also stars Camille Stopps and Angus McFadden. Angus McFadden, you may know from Braveheart.
Yeah, okay.
Equilibrium, Saw 3 and 4, and I think most recently he was Jor-El on the CW show Superman and Lois. Now, I can't verify this, but there is trivia out there that Alive was marketed in Russia as a Saw movie because it's like common practice to retitle movies and connect them to, widely known franchises, even if they have very little in common. And we saw something like this with, what is it? Lucio Fulci's Zombie 2 in Italy, where copyright laws allowed them to market it as a sequel to other works. And since Romero's Dawn of the Dead was re-edited and released in Italy as Zombie, they just greenlit and shot Zombie 2. Even though it wasn't part of Romero's thing, they just made it seem like it was. But like I said, like with the marketing for Russia with this was kind of because what's his name, Angus McFadden, was in the other Saw movies. So since he was in this, and it was kind of like it with like the torture porn-esque, they were like, it's like Saw, but it is what it is. The hospital scenes were shot at the former Care West Hospital in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Care West was also the location for Bemidji Police Department in the first 3 seasons of the Fargo TV series, but it has since been demolished. That's really all I got on that. So based on the box art, what were you expecting from this movie? Considering the box art was just red with the word Alive, but like someone looking through it.
Yeah. I guess I kind of got what I thought I would get from the front of it, because like it looks like a tortured person in a way, like alive, like they're trying to, and I guess you got that in the movie. Technically, I didn't think it was that kind of movie. I thought it really was more of like a different kind of horror movie. Yeah. But the outcome kind of was the same. You could, there's still someone alive and fearing for their self.
Yeah. I could, yeah.
It beats the hermits.
Dude, everything beats hermits. Like, everything. Even with this cool looking box art, like it really didn't give me anything about what the movie's about, especially given like the twist at the end of the film is just like I don't fucking know, man. The worst part, the absolute fucking worst part of doing anything for this film. Good luck trying to Google search this movie without throwing in like a shit ton of extra fucking info into the search. If you just type in alive, even hashtag
everything else
alive,
everything else comes up.
The 1993 Ethan Hawke movie will pop up, or a 2020 Korean horror movie hashtag alive
pops
pops
like
up.
a million movies. Yeah.
I had to grab the director. I had to grab like the director's name, put the title, and then search through box art until I finally like found the right one. But then I also started to notice that director Rob Grant loves his one-word fucking titles for movies. He made a movie called Yesterday. He made a movie called Desolate. He made the movie Alive. And then he made the movie Harpoon. Like, what the fuck is it with you with these one-word fucking titles, man? Like, give more description in your goddamn fucking titles. Like, Jesus, that's like calling Nightmare on Elm Street Nightmare. It's like, fucking come on, dude. You could have, again, especially with the twist at the end, there could have, I don't want to give the twist away until we get to it. There could have been so many other fucking things that you called this, that you went with Alive is just the worst fucking decision. I don't even know how a distributor didn't turn around and go, we need to change the title. Like, this is fucking stupid. It has terrible SEO. Like, we need to find something better so people can find this shit. But yeah. That just really fucking annoyed me, having to try to find stuff, and it's just like, nope, that's not the right movie. Nope, that's not the right movie. Nope, that's not the right movie. All right, let me fucking...
It happened.
Who directed this and then grab that?
Yeah, more than you would think it would happen, it actually does. Especially when it comes down to horror films, because there's so many made just off the cuff nowadays. People just throw names at them. That's why I'm always very amazed people don't get sued more, but because it's a name, you can't, it's a word. You can't really, like, copyright that, I guess?
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, let's get into plot. The movie opens to a bright-ass light being shined in our faces. When an injured hand shoots into frame with hospital equipment beeping around, a guy is revealed to be bloodied and bandaged. It's so much blood.
It's a true testament of blood. But now, looking back, I kind of get it.
Yeah. The sounds are just awful as he tries to like sit up and get out of bed, and when he falls down on the floor, just like the wet flop, it's gross. But then we get a flashback.
Sound moist.
Yeah. Oh, moist. The word moist doesn't bother me. It's the
sound of moist.
It's the sound of, and you were like, oh, like what you have. For me, it's when your mouth is dry, there isn't moisture in your mouth, so your mouth makes that weird like sound when you talk.
Smacking.
That's a sound that shouldn't be getting made, which is why when my mouth is dry,
want to hear this sound anymore.
Yeah, so it's like when my mouth is dry and like we record a podcast and stuff, I go through and I find in the audio file everywhere that is, and I'm like, nope, cut. It's like, I don't want to fucking hear it, especially if I have to listen to it over and over again. It's like, no. But we get a flashback of, I guess, him getting shot, I think?
The flashbacks are hard because it seems like the middle is more distorted, but you see around it.
Yeah.
So you really don't get the full picture.
Yeah, he wakes back up and he begins to crawl on the floor through this disgusting hospital. We hear the same whistling echoing through the halls, and the sound of a saw causes the man to like crawl a little bit faster, only to kick a can and alert his captor.
It reminds me of Bubba. Who's
Bubba?
Chainsaw.
Oh, okay.
There's a hallway, big burly dude.
So the caretaker comes out, and I'm pretty sure we just call him the caretaker for a large majority of the film, because I don't think we ever get his name. He brings him back to the table.
I thought it was the doctor.
I think for now he's just like, I'm your caretaker. I don't think he ever goes like, I'm your doctor.
Oh, no, it doesn't ever go by it? Oh.
Yeah, no. He brings him back to the table and hooks him back up to all the machines. The man wakes up a little cleaner as the caretaker is taking photos of him and an unconscious woman. After hurting him with some rehab, the dude leaves, and and the man tries to unbuckle his restraints. He manages to do it, but in like the loudest possible way. only to have the caretaker return and rebuckle his arm,
yeah,
and then knock him out with an injection. It's
like that fentanyl. It was that white creamy stuff that got Michael Jackson.
Usually, I get like really annoyed with these films.
Why?
Okay. With like just people being
Doesn't
too
take
loud.
much. Okay.
No, but you know what I mean? Like people being too loud when they're hiding underneath a bed from like a killer. And they're just like,
and they're just loud. Yeah.
It's like, bro, he could hear you. And then when they do that, and then someone comes in and they're like, it's like, that's not, they already heard you. Like there's no reason for you to be huffing. You can huff and puff quietly. Like it's a thing. But like, at least with him, like he's all fucked up. It seems like he's like getting used to like his things atrophied, and he's like trying to learn how to use them again and everything. So at least him making too much noise kind of makes sense, but it is what it is. The guy wakes up again, but now the woman is awake and tells him not to hurt himself and that he's been asleep for days. She's asking questions, but he's not really speaking. At this point, I'm wondering if he can even talk.
I said the same thing. I think it was like hard for him to get it from like the amnesia and shit.
So he just woke up and remembers someone saying they'll slit his throat. The power goes out during a thunderstorm to reveal the caretaker chilling in the corner listening to them. That's weird.
That's not creepy at all.
Sometime later, the man wakes up to the caretaker mopping up the blood, but it takes a break to check his wounds, finding that he needs to put him back under and clean it up so he doesn't get an infection, because crawling around on that disgusting ass fucking floor didn't already give him the infection.
Oh, 100%.
Both now awake, the caretaker tries to feed the guy food, but he isn't having any of it, and the chick has to chime in saying she'd love to eat some food. This food looks fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out...
I figured it was poison until he ended up having a bite himself.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out why the guy was being so defiant. You know what I mean?
The patient dude?
Yeah, because I can understand
it makes no sense because we don't know what he was doing with that hand, the physical therapy on the hand. Was he like hurting him, or was he like forcing his hand to do it? You know what I mean? Like, if he took it the wrong way, but this dude looks like this dude patched you up. Like, I get where the girl was coming from. It looks like you like helped us.
I can understand, like, if he's been there for a while, he has full understanding what's going on, and he's like, I'm never getting out of here. Fuck this. Fuck you.
Yeah,
like do whatever you're gonna do to me.
It looks like it's the first time he's been been awake.
It's like he woke up and he immediately went, and like gets out and crawls away and then gets put back. And now it's to the point, like I'm pretty sure it's only been probably a week, because it's like after that initial time he was asleep for a couple of days and then woke up and he's already like and everything. But it's like every time he gets up, he ends up only like getting hurt. So why keep doing it? Just go with the flow. At least
eventually you're not going to be able to get away if you're hurting yourself.
Yeah, at least for a little bit, because then you can be like, you can hopefully get some strength back, figure out how your fucking legs work so you don't flop around on the ground so much, and then try to figure out a way to get out of there. But like being in this weakened state and then being like, oh, I'm not gonna eat, I'm not gonna do this, and it didn't make. I don't know. The lady starts choking on the food, and we see that before being there, she has a flashback of setting up a bath where she hears a noise in her hotel room. I think it was a hotel room. I don't think they ever said it was a hotel room, but I've stayed in enough hotel rooms to know that that's a hotel room.
The bed looked uncomfortable as shit. That looked like a fucking hotel room.
And she was attacked and stabbed through the heart by her assailant. The caretaker tries to bring her back with chest compressions, only to take out the defibrillator. She comes back.
Terrible.
Brings them into...
And he would have been shocked. This whole scene, as a fucking retired EMT, made my skin crawl. How are you straddling her and not electrocuting yourself? Yeah. Then your second shot, you jeweled the shit. You hear it like, and then shocked her. The second one, it was like, it's like a Tommy Han, this shit, and didn't get himself. Fucking terrible. Do your research, people. Make it real.
He brings her back, and then takes them into this gross makeshift gym so they can start some physical therapy.
Yeah, physical therapy.
He dumps the chick in the gymnastic rings?
Rings, yeah.
Yeah.
It just has her dangling there, like...
Yeah. Well, she's got to work
on
her
core. How uncomfortable is that? That's right. You got to get your core straight. I was like, what the fuck?
He dumps the dude on some kind of like Bowflex like thing to pump iron while biking. Yeah, his knee tear... God. Thinking about it's kind of making me nauseous. The knee tears open while also like he's getting his face smashed in by the weight bar.
The bar.
And it's like
essentially he's making him torture himself, like in Saw.
And it's like, you know what? I'll because if I say my complaint to this now, it's gonna give away the shit at the end, so I'll wait. The caretaker gets frustrated that the guy got hurt again. Of course he fucking got hurt again. So we cut back to them just sitting in the hospital beds, but outside watching the caretaker garden. He tells them that he didn't do this to them, he just found them like that.
Found them like this, yeah.
At this point, I'm assuming that if this guy isn't the one that attacked them, then he found where they were dumped and brought them back to the hospital to keep as like pets or something, but like I don't know at this point.
You don't know this yet. Yes, you don't know this yet.
She agrees to stay there as it's home because the guy still isn't talking to the caretaker. He puts pruning shears in his hands and acts like the guy is trying to stab him, only to turn it on the woman until the guy yells that this is his home, and then the caretaker basically gasses them and they pass out.
Gasses them a lot. They'd be very, very foggy. Like the amount of times he does it, like I don't understand how they ever wake up in like a normal
they would always be waking up fucked up. He leaves them for the night so they can get some sleep, and we finally get some story. She yells at him to be more agreeable and to stop pissing him off. He tells her he's going to kill them, so she tells him that she feels like she had kids. She can't see their faces, but she just has like this feeling, like the possibility, like she likes kids, which that can, you could be, a pedo and everything. Like you didn't have kids, you were a pedo.
They gotta go straight to that.
Well, because we're assuming that the people that are hostages are good people. Like they could be pieces.
Yeah, they could be the bad people.
They could absolutely be pieces of shit.
Yeah.
And it's just he's also a piece of shit. It's just like
100% understand what you're saying.
It's like the people he kidnapped weren't good people. They were piece of shit people. It's just he was also a piece of shit. So then it's like, well, how do you fucking root for them? Like everyone is a piece of shit in this situation. What happens? The next morning, he enters the room and injects them with some sort of fluid before finding the flower he gave her on the floor. He was really pissed about this, but like she can't.
I was very confused by that.
Like, okay, the flower's on the floor. She's like,
they were outside though.
Yeah, well, no, like he gave her the flower, but I think he gave it to her like, hey, I want to fuck you.
So it fell.
And then it's like her throwing it, like he's like, oh, she threw it on the floor, but it's like she's stuck in this bed. It probably fell. She can't go get it.
Yes.
It's just it seems like this was just way too much. They were just trying to. They were trying too hard with this scene, basically.
Yes,
they were trying too hard.
They were shit dumping.
But yeah, he pontificates about something. I wasn't fully paying attention, and then gives them their breakfast. He feeds the guy, and it looks like straight up trash that like he's shoveling into this dude's mouth. Like stuff
you bottom of like your garbage disposal. It looked like.
But it's a paralytic.
But he took it. But do you think he tried to take it?
Yep, he did take it, but it's a paralytic. He brings them to this sterile-looking bathroom and places him in a tub with
you'll
blood,
get better the more you move.
He puts him in the water, and the blood is like already washing off of him, making the water like super gross.
It's blood water. Imagine the iron smell.
Yeah.
It's smell of iron.
No, iron and bleach because of how sterile that room looked.
Oh God.
He tells him,
I don't miss that.
No. He tells him, like you said, so long as he keeps moving, he should stay above water and be fine.
Yeah.
While he's trying to tread exactly. While he's trying to tread water in the tub, the caretaker makes the girl undress down to her bandages.
Oh my God.
And sit on his lap to give her a sponge bath. Like, see, this is what I'm saying. Like, it's like a weird, I want to fuck this
he's 100% a disgusting bastard. 100%.
Yeah. Here we learn that his father was a brain surgeon. He successfully did a brain transplant on a chimpanzee, and then the guy sinks below the water, and the caretaker has to pull him up and inject him with the antidote, which you should have done.
And he gets all pissed about it, like you knew that was gonna happen.
Why'd you save him? I can understand like using a paralytic on him to get him into that room. This way, like when you unbuckle him, he doesn't fight it. But like just before you put him in the water, you probably should have injected him with the paralytic, with the antidote to it, so that like he wakes up. But, it's whatever. While underwater, the guy has a memory of being in prison. The caretaker leaves to get the dude a towel, and the patients just decide to make a break for it. They make it to the entrance, and while they get down there, the caretaker is on the loudspeaker, basically mocking them. They see handprints of children on a wall in a room, and she remembers that she has a daughter.
She had another flashback. Each time she has like that shock, it ends up giving her like a flashback.
Yeah.
Remember, because she touched the thing that said home.
But I had this thought. This place barely has power. Like, we've seen him, he only turns on certain things, and then other things have to be turned on with generators, and power keeps going out.
It's like an abandoned hospital.
Yeah, every so often we see him turning things on with a generator, but while they're running around in the dark, the caretaker is saying things like, "You won't like what you find down there" and stuff.
Yeah.
How does he know where they are? There are no cameras. Like, there's no way cameras are still working in there.
They don't show it to us. But...
Well, with everything having to run on generators, how the fuck is, like, the security system and all that? Like,
you're asking too many questions, my friend.
Also, why haven't their eyes adjusted to the darkness yet? Does it take your eyesight very long to adjust to the darkness? You know, they're running down dark hallways.
Especially if you're concentrating real hard and squinting, it'll help.
They also forgot that the dude has a Rottweiler, and why did they not think that he would release the dog?
There's two people. You don't say, "I got the dog, you hit the dog."
Yeah.
Like, one of you takes it. You're gonna have to take one for the team. But if one of you do it, grab them, and the other person fucking kill the dog, you're good to go. It's common fucking sense. Bad team.
They find a room downstairs with a photo album of them asleep. They hear the dog barking on the other side of the room and try to leave out the other door, only for the caretaker to be on the other side with the defibrillator. They wake up in the operating room, where he demands the woman tell him what the guy talks about when he leaves, and then the lights go off.
Psychopath.
Scared, she tells him that he plots and that she just listens. He gives her the choice of what happens to him: death, castration, or just shut him up. She chooses shut him up. He doesn't want her. He doesn't want her to see what happens, so he knocks her out with sleeping gas again, with the fucking gas. Tied down.
Drooling. I'm telling you, their brain cells would be fucked.
Tied down, still in the same room. She's just waiting for the caretaker to come back. He comes back in with the guy strapped to the table, but now it's revealed his mouth was sewn shut. I'm guessing he cut his tongue out too, but I don't know.
No. Remember, before all this, he talked. Remember, he was talking.
No. I'm saying, like, after he sewed his mouth shut.
Oh, that would make sense then. That would make sense then.
I mean, it's revealed later he didn't. He just sewed his mouth shut. But like, at a certain point, you got to think like he can just cut the thing open and be able to talk again. So if you take his tongue, then he can't talk again. Like, you know, like, I don't. He doesn't feel this is enough and says his legs are strong and maybe he should cut them off, but leaves it up to her, and she says just the big toes. As he goes to cut the big toe off, she smashes the flower.
It got close.
The vase on his face. Yeah, it got really close. With a shard in his eye, he attacks her, pulling her down to the ground. He takes her IV and tries to stab her, but she blocks it with her hand, which is gross.
In her hand. Yeah.
She smashes the glass into his eye further, and then climbs on top of him, stabbing him repeatedly in the neck with the needle before leaving it in his neck and squeezing the contents of the IV bag into him.
Which
that should have
probably yes. Unless you're Jason Voorhees or some shit.
Yes. She gets the guy loose and he kicks the dude in the head. I personally would have stomped his head in. I would have found anything heavy and smashed his fucking head.
You would have, yes. I wouldn't have just made sure and got away. I would have made sure it's never getting up again.
He then takes a piece of the vase and cuts his mouth free, and I guess he didn't cut his tongue out because he talks, so that, you know.
But the amount of blood that came out of the mouth, I would be like, well, maybe he did cut his tongue, you know?
They wander the hospital looking for a way out, but everything is locked or barricaded. They find a freezer with a ton of bodies hung on hooks, and along the way, they find an axe and a trail of blood. Apparently, the caretaker is still alive. So, I don't know how. That doesn't make any sort of sense to me.
Any sense. He's like the Jason Voorhees of fucking doctors here.
Finding a light behind a wall, they hack at it and make their way down a dark staircase.
That they don't know of.
Yeah, she slips, and they find out that the smell and stickiness is bodies decomposing. Like bloody bodies decomposing in like a stairwell that was like closed. But I feel like everyone knows, like, could tell what a decomposing body smells like. I feel like that's
if you've never smelt a body that was left in a Brooklyn apartment with the radiators that are broken.
Yeah.
alone for a week, you can't imagine that smell.
But I'm just saying, like, if like there's a staircase of
Liquefied
just tons
body.
of bodies, like covered in
Yeah.
blood. Some of them are mushy, like they're all decomposing and stuff. You don't need a flashlight to be like, oh, that's probably a bunch of dead bodies. You know what I mean?
No.
I
You
don't
would
feel like
assume with the rest of your findings that yes, this is what you would think that they are the dead bodies that are.
how did you not smell it as soon as you opened the area to get in there? I feel like the second anything like broke the seal of that,
In the
you'd be like,
proximity.
Yeah.
In the proximity of that room.
it's like, yeah, I don't know. While helping her up, he drops the axe and then can't find it. I don't feel like the axe could have gone that far.
And
I
I thought maybe he could open some doors, but that didn't happen.
Because I feel like you're trying to get away from a psycho. You want to keep your weapon. You wouldn't be like, nah, just leave it. I'd be like,
Oh,
"Nah,
you mean
I'll-
like
I'll-"
the people that they empty their gun on an apocalypse in shows and they drop the gun?
Yeah, it's like, no, you can keep it. You know,
You
maybe
can
you'll
keep
find
it.
more
if
ammo.
Not, if anything, it's if not
It's a
the
blunt
ammo,
weapon.
a blunt weapon and
Yeah.
barter. You
Yeah.
could barter for food and shelter.
It didn't make sense. Like, you take 2 minutes to fucking find it. You've already been in the muckety muck. Just get on your hands and knees and like fucking feel around till you find it.
Oh,
That
you've
shit-
already got
get-
the Hep A, the B, the
yeah,
C, the
like
D,
who,
the T.
at
Yeah,
this
like
point, who cares?
F, the O. You're dying anyways. You might as well.
They can't find it, so they get up and they're like, fuck it, and they leave. They get outside into the courtyard, and the caretaker and his dog are sitting there waiting for them. He commends them for being fighters, sure, and that all will be okay. He'll find her another companion. The dude tells him to fuck off, and then the owner like sicks the dog on him. They manage to make it back inside, and I see her shut the door, but somehow the dog gets the door open and gets back inside the hospital.
I don't think it latches.
It doesn't matter. She shut the door. Did the dog like jump up and like pull the door out? Like they had to push it open. So she shut it. So how did
You're
the
right,
dog get
didn't
it back
open
open?
that way?
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't open that way.
Because it couldn't open in because there's all the dead bodies. You wouldn't be.
Huh.
You'd have to like scoop the bodies out of
That's
the way to
another
open the
thing
door.
wrong with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like it was like we need to get the dog inside. Well, why didn't you think of a better way to get the dog inside?
It's the detail. Devil in the detail.
They do manage to lock the dog out from the rest of the hospital, and they try to find another exit, but everything is locked up tight except that body cooler. He hides her under a tarp, and she wipes dead blood on her
Blood
face.
everywhere. Like, oh.
I don't really know how that's supposed to do anything,
What is
but
it?
whatever.
The Walking Dead? I said this.
Yeah.
What is this, The Walking Dead? He's gonna
Yeah.
notice that you're not dead when you're moving around and your eyes
Yeah.
are open. Like,
It's just fucking nasty, and as the caretaker and his dog enter the cooler, the guy lifts himself up on a hook, tricking them into thinking he left. He rips the tarp off of her, and as she goes to grab her, the dude drops down, attacks him, then attacks the dog, and then they get out and lock the caretaker and the dog in the cooler, and then escape the hospital grounds, making it to a nearby lake. I would think at a certain, like, how did he get out?
how did any of them get out?
Because it's like he jumped down, attacked them, him and her got out, they shut the door, and then they locked it. They put the pin in the door. So once that pin's in the door, we've worked in enough freezers to know that if you shut the door and you put the pin in,
You put
there
the
ain't no
pin
amount of pushing that emergency open that's going to
No.
open it, because it's fucking locked. So
into lockout.
it's,
Yeah.
but yeah, they clean themselves off in the river. She has a little bit of a freak
Logic.
out, but he calms her down. They make their way to a road, and every car that passes just picks up speed and shoots
Yeah.
past them.
You're covered in blood, and you look like
Yeah.
patients.
Yeah,
It's
you
not
look
a good
like
look.
escaped mental patients. Like people aren't going to stop
Yeah.
for you. Finally, a car does stop, and I'm thinking to myself, what are they doing? You're just
Who else would be by
jumping-
there but that dude?
Yeah, like you just jumped into a car. You didn't look at the driver. You didn't talk to the driver. You didn't do any
Nothing.
of this stuff. You didn't notice the plates. You didn't
Go to
notice
the
that the
front
car
of the
didn't
car
have any
first.
plates and everything.
Yeah, go to the
Like
front of
I
the
would
car.
rather just keep walking. I would stick to the
The road.
to the river, and well, I wouldn't stay on the road because what if he has a car and he just drives on the road?
It's
Look for us?
true.
I would
Could've
stick
just
to
fucking
the.
ran him over.
I would stick to the river and just walk along that. You'll either end up somewhere up top or somewhere down, but it doesn't matter. But it's the caretaker. They manage to get out and make a run for it as the caretaker tries to maybe run them over. They're
no,
running.
it didn't. It looked like it looked like he generally was trying to get them back in the car.
But now they're running through the woods. They come across 2 unmarked graves. They continue running, and they have to stop at a cliff. He shoots the guy in the stomach, and the woman begs for the caretaker to save him. Instead, he puts the gun in her mouth. He's talking about how sentimental the earrings were, and she remembers he has them in his pocket. Getting
Yeah,
the
and
caretaker
actually to put 'em on him.
getting the caretaker to look at him He throws the earrings over the cliff, and as he
Pushes
runs
him
over and watches him fall, she pushes him over the cliff to his death. Still not remembering their names, he tells her to call him Joe, and she tells him to call her Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Because sure, this motherfucker gives you like, hey, I'm Joe Smith, call me that. and she's like, call me Elizabeth. Like, not call me Beth, call me Liz, like nothing like short and simple. It's like, what's a Queen Margaret Anne? Call me, like, they hear a dog barking and make a run for it, only for it not to be the Roddy. They come across a party, a bunch of people camping in the woods, and as we fade to black, they are back in a hospital. This time, it's a real hospital, and it's not gross. The doctor is being super weird the second he walks in, and tells them that they need to talk about everything that's going on with a detective. They're separated, and come to find out that while running the guy's prints, they found that one hand belonged to a death row inmate and the other hand belonged to a cop it killed in the line of duty.
So it's two separate hands.
Yeah. So for Elizabeth, a girl that she thinks is her daughter comes in. She looks at her mom, but the little girl is all like, you're not my mom. I watched my mom die.
There's no way.
And the woman that was stabbed to death was a woman that had no kids. So it turns out the caretaker was like a Dr. Frankenstein and was just putting body parts together and bringing them back to life.
Legos.
The memories that they have aren't theirs, but memories from the body parts that make them up.
Other people.
Because that's a thing. They're taken away and experimented on by the agency, and as the doors to like the quarantine area are closed by the doctor that ratted them out, someone put up a sign that says Mr. and Mrs. Frankenstein.
Oh, and he got all pissed about it.
Yeah,
but it made sense.
Yeah, we get a mid-credit scene of a female hiker finding the caretaker's body, bending down to check if he's all right, and getting no response. She looks around to see if anyone else is around. When her back is turned, his eyes opened, and that is the end of Alive.
They better never make it Alive 2.
So, what are your thoughts on Alive?
I liked it up until it turned into this weird Frankenstein thing. If they would have left that whole entire thing out altogether, it would have been better.
Yeah. Like,
what? You're conflicted. I can hear
it. For me, this is like a 1 or a 2. Because no real story was told the entire time.
Through the whole movie.
Yeah, you don't know who these people are. You don't really care about these people because you're not given anything to like connect to them. The doctor is just, he's weird and cruel and abusive, and like you're not given a reason why. And then in what?
Or a motive.
The last like 5 to 10 minutes, you find out that this is all just a revamped tale of Dr. Frankenstein and his monster and the monster's bride. At the end, they're like, oh, but like all the cuts and stuff. Okay, but those aren't clues that make you go, oh, it's a Frankenstein's monster thing. Like that,
no.
Like, no.
Because he said they were in a bad accident, so it made it look like he repaired them.
And then it's like, what was it? Like the grave, I think the grave was like his wife and daughter or something like that. Why would we care? Like, you haven't given us anything about him. Now you want us to feel sympathy? Like, I don't give a shit. I don't care. This is like, if they, it's like the whole fucking story structure. It's fucking weird. It didn't make fucking sense. And it's like at the last, like, what is it? I think it's like while they're being wheeled in. No, maybe it was when they were in the interrogation room. He starts yelling, he was right, it was our home.
Yeah, that was,
I'm like,
it made no sense.
Like, what? I don't fucking care, dude. And like I said, I get why they went Alive, because it's like, it's alive.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it was like, I kind of think that the thumbnail matched it in a way.
Yeah, but like, it's like there could have been so many other,
a good way.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like this movie. I didn't vibe with this at all. Watching it,
I enjoyed it enough, but I'll give it a no less than a 2.
Yeah, I watched it twice, and I was like, yeah, I'm good at 2 times. If I forget stuff, I was like, I'm sure you'll watch it way sooner and be able to be like, oh yeah, no, this happened, and everything, so I don't have to watch it again. I watched it enough to quickly write stuff up and be like, all right, I'm done. I don't really care. But yeah, for me, this is Yeah, no more than a 2. So if you want to give it a 2, I am more than happy to give it a 2. Next week's film is going to be The Wendigo.
Oh, good.
This is the one that had that really dope fucking box art. It looks really cool.
Yes.
Doesn't really explain the Wendigo because that doesn't. Well, I mean, you don't know what a Wendigo is. It's a fucking.
We know what we have an impression of a Wendigo because of Fallout, but I don't know if it's the same kind of Wendigo. You know, I would think it's not.
Wendigo, 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 Wendigo!
Yeah, so that's going to be next week's film. But thank you, everybody, very much for stopping by and checking out the Spooky Spooky Horror Show podcast. Remember, you can find us on YouTube, where you're probably seeing this video, or Spotify, because we are uploading the video version of the podcast to Spotify so that you have your choice if you want to watch it or just listen to it. Spotify will give you that option. And all other audio services, we will be back next week. Thank you, everybody, very much, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Later.